So Autopsy are a band that needs absolutely no introduction. They formed back in 1987 by Chris Reifert on vocals and drums, of course, Eric Cutler on guitar, and Eric Igard on bass. They have always been based in Oakland, California, and started right after Chris had left Death, in which he played drums from like 1986 to 1987. They recorded 4 great albums between 1989 and 1995 before calling it quits in 1995. Yes, I just said 4 great albums. I think Shit Fun is actually pretty good. I never really understood the hate for that. Acts of the Unspeakable is pretty good too. Obviously, the latter 2 aren't quite as important as the first 2, but still pretty good in my opinion. So they decided to reform in 2008 with the lineup of Reifert, Cutler, Joe Allen on bass, and Danny Corrales on second guitar. They have been extremely consistent and have never released anything subpar. Today I'm here to talk about their new album, Ashes, Organs, Blood, and Crypts, just released via Peaceville Records. Now, I'll admit, I didn't actually know about this album until I had the CD in my hands. I actually was able to get it the day before it was released from my local record store, because I'm cool, I guess. I've been shopping there for over 25 years, and they do shit like that for me sometimes. But I didn't know about it literally until the day before it was supposed to be released. They just had an album from last year, and while I thought it was pretty good, it didn't exactly blow me away. That said, after reviewing this album, I might have to go back to Morbidity Triumphant. Was that what it was called? It just didn't, I thought it was good again, but it I felt like something was missing. I don't know if it was just me. I don't know how you guys feel. So how does this new album compare? Let's take a look. So we have 11 tracks here, clocking in at just over 41 minutes, doesn't overstay its welcome. Rabid Funeral, the lead-off track, wastes no time, just bursting out of the gate at a fairly fast pace, the faster Autopsy pace. Sounds like classic Autopsy to me, but they have never not sounded like classic Autopsy, in my opinion. Chris is screaming in his higher register, and at the 51-second mark, the song slows down to a nice mid-pace groove. At the minute 20 mark, you get a nice guitar solo by Eric Cutler as the song kind of goes back to that faster pace. And at the minute 37 mark, you get another solo, this time by Corrales, and the pace is now even faster than before, and you get a third solo. Not sure who plays this one, though, because the booklet actually doesn't say. I assumed it was Cutler, but I could be wrong. The song goes into another groove, a bit slower, but I put emphasis on the word groove because it's really, really catchy. Around the 3-minute 7-second mark, the song drops down to a doomy crawl, kind of creepy sounding, and this is where Autopsy have, in my opinion, always excelled. You get more lead work, and I gotta say, I liked this song a lot. The songwriting was quality. I'd say it's pretty memorable so far. Track 2, Throat Saw, is a much shorter song and is kind of an up-tempo, kind of punky banger with great guitar interplay between Cutler and Morales. Really outstanding song in my opinion. Lots of blistering guitar work, and I liked the chaotic tone. Track 3, No Mortal Left Alive, is another banger with some great tempo changes with a slower beginning that kind of picked up in the middle, with the last minute or so going back to a slower, doomy crawl. Track 4, Well of Entrails, starts off very doomy, and the slowest tempo so far. This could easily have been something from a traditional doom band, like maybe Reverend Bizarre or something like that. Very slow, very doomy, and very, very heavy. Probably my favorite song so far, and the middle of the song gets pretty fast with some chaotic solos by Cutler and Corrales. It goes back to a slower speed for the last minute or so. Track 5, got the title track, starts with a doomy and just almost mid-pace, with some kind of tribal-esque drum bashing courtesy of Chris Reifert. The pace picks up around the minute 15-second mark, slowing down again around the 2-minute mark briefly before speeding up for a minute. It slows down near the end, and it's hard to get bored with all the dynamics, really keeping your attention here. Track 6, Bones to the Wolves, starts off slow, doomy, with some excellent guitar interplay that really makes this a pretty killer song. The pace picks up in the middle with a Cutler and then a Corrales guitar solo before going back to that slower pace. And I have to comment on Greg Wilkinson's bass work on this album, adding a lot to both groove and the overall heaviness. I feel like his bass presence is, I don't know if it's just me, maybe for some reason I'm noticing it more, but I feel like his bass presence is just a little bit more noticeable. I don't know. Again, I don't know if it's just me, but I think he does add a lot to this band. Then track 7, Marrow Fiend, opens up with a guitar solo staying low and slow until the minute mark, where the song goes into kind of a mid-pace with a chunky, catchy, almost thrash type riff that I wish had stayed around a little longer. Definitely check that riff out. It's really cool. Track 8, Toxic Death Fuck, is another short banger with Chris Reifert coughing around the middle that had me kind of smiling and chuckling a bit, adding character to his already always charismatic performance. Track 9, Lobotomizing Gods, is another under 3-minute crusher that I expected to be another fast song, and it is, but it's more doom sounding for the first minute. The rest of the song alternates between fast and slow pace, leading right into track 10, Death is the Answer, with Reifert chanting death, death, death. It's very cool. And the album closes with Coagulation, the 11th track. It's a thunderous, kind of Black Sabbath-esque song that stays between plodding doom and a mid-pace stomp, and a great ending to a really, really good album. Could this be the death metal album of the year? I don't know, but I enjoyed it a lot. Quite a bit more than the last album, at least so far. Again, like I said, I'm gonna revisit that album and see. Maybe I was just wrong about it, you know. But I liked this album a hell of a lot, and all I can say for sure is that Autopsy are alive and well in 2023. I'm gonna give Ashes, Organs, Blood, and Crypts an 8 out of 10. The dynamics and tempo changes made it a great listen, and I'll surely be returning to this at least numerous times before the end of the year. So I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you think about this new album? Do you think it's as good as the previous album? Do you think it's better? I'd really like to hear your comparison, because, like I said, for some reason that last album just didn't do a whole lot for me. But I think I could be wrong, and I'm going to revisit it and kind of reanalyze things. So, anyways, let me know what you think about the album, and hope you're doing well. We will talk soon. Fucking cheers.